Good afternoon and welcome back to The Longing, where today we're going to be finishing off Aesop's Fables and heading over to the Halls of Eternity. So, here we go. Let's get started. What a wonderful day. Read a book. Turn off idle reading. So we've already read The Sheep, the Wolf and the Stag. Yes, we have. The Lion and the Three Bulls. 3 bulls were grazing in a meadow, and were watched by a lion, who longed to capture and devour them, but who felt that he was no match for the 3, so long as they kept together. So he began by false whispers and malicious hints to foment jealousies and distrust among them. This stratagem succeeded so well that ere long the bulls grew cold and unfriendly and finally avoided each other and fed each one by himself, apart. No sooner did the lion see this than he fell upon them one by one and killed them in turn. The quarrels of friends are the opportunities of foes. The horse and his rider. A young man who fancied himself something of a horseman mounted a horse which had not been properly broken in, and was exceedingly difficult to control. No sooner did the horse feel his weight in the saddle than he bolted, and nothing would stop him. A friend of the rider's met him in the road in his headlong career, and called out, "Where are you off to in such a hurry?" To which he, pointing to the horse, replied, "I've no idea. Ask him." The Goat and the Vine. A goat was straying in a vineyard, and began to browse on the tender shoots of a vine which bore several fine bunches of grapes. "What have I done to you," said the vine, "that you should harm me thus? Isn't there grass enough for you to feed on? All the same, even if you eat up every leaf I have and leave me quite bare, I shall produce wine enough to pour over you when you are led to the altar to be sacrificed." The 2 pots. 2 pots, one of earthenware and the other of brass, were carried away down a river in flood. The brazen pot urged his companion to keep close by his side, and he would protect him. The other thanked him, but begged him not to come near him on any account. "For that," he said, "is just what I am most afraid of. One touch from you, and I should be broken in pieces." Equals make the best friends. That makes no sense. The Old Hound. A hound who had served his master well for years, and had run down many a quarry in his time, began to lose his strength and speed owing to age. One day, when out hunting, his master started a powerful wild boar, and set the hound at him. The latter seized the beast by the ear, but his teeth were gone and he could not retain his hold, so the boar escaped. His master began to scold him severely, but the hound interrupted him with these words: "My will is as strong as ever, master, but my body is old and feeble. You ought to honour me for what I have been, instead of abusing me for what I am." The Clown and the Countryman. A nobleman announced his intention of giving a public entertainment in the theatre, and offered splendid prizes to all who had any novelty to exhibit at the performance. The announcement attracted a crowd of conjurers, jugglers, and acrobats, and among the rest a clown, very popular with the crowd, who let it be known that he was going to give an entirely new turn. When the day of the performance came, the theatre was filled from top to bottom some time before the entertainment began. Several performers exhibited their tricks, and then the popular favourite came on, empty-handed and alone. At once there was a hush of expectation, and he, letting his head fall upon his breast, imitated the squeak of a pig to such perfection that the audience insisted on his producing the animal, which, they said, he must have somewhere concealed about his person. He, however, convinced them that there was no pig there, and then the applaud was deafening. Among the spectators was a countryman, who disparaged the clown's performance and announced that he would give a much superior exhibition of the same trick on the following day. Again the theatre was filled to overflowing, and again the clown gave his imitation amidst the cheers of the crowd. The countryman, meanwhile, before going on the stage, had secreted a young porker under his smock, and when the spectators derisively bade him do better if he could, he gave a pinch in the ear and made it squeal loudly. But they all with one voice shouted out that the clown's imitation was much more true to life. Thereupon he produced the pig from under his smock and said sarcastically, "There, that shows what sort of judges you are." The Lark and the Farmer. A lark nested in a field of corn, and was rearing her brood under cover of the ripening grain. One day, before the young were fully fledged, the farmer came to look at the crop, and, finding it yellowing fast, he said, "I must send round word to my neighbours to come and help me reap this field." One of the young larks overheard him, and was very much frightened, and asked her mother whether they hadn't better move house at once. "There's no hurry," replied she. "A man who looks to his friends for help will take his time about a thing." In a few days the farmer came by again, and saw that the grain was overripe, and falling out of the ears upon the ground. "I must put it off no longer," he said. "This very day I'll hire the men, and set them to work at once." The lark heard him, and said to her young, "Come, my children, we must be off. He talks no more of his friends now, but is going to take things in hand himself. Self-help is the best help." The Lion and the Ass. A lion and an ass set up as partners and went a-hunting together. In course of time they came to a cave in which there were a number of wild goats. The lion took up his stand at the mouth of the cave and waited for them to come out, while the ass went inside and brayed for all he was worth in order to frighten them out into the open. The lion struck them down one by one as they appeared, and when the cave was empty, the ass came out and said, "Well, I scared them pretty well, didn't I?" "I should think you did," said the lion. "Why, if I hadn't known you were an ass, I should have turned and run myself." The Prophet. A prophet sat in the marketplace and told the fortunes of all who cared to engage his services. Suddenly there came running up one who told him that his house had been broken into by thieves, and that they had made off with everything they could lay hands on. He was up in a moment and rushed off, tearing his hair and calling down curses on the miscreants. The bystanders were much amused, and one of them said, "Our friend professes to know what is going to happen to others, but it seems he's not clever enough to perceive what's in store for himself." The Hound and the Hare. A young hound started a hare, and, when he caught her up, would at one moment snap at her with his teeth, as though he were about to kill her, while at another he would let go his hold and frisk about her, as if he were playing with another dog. At last the hare said, "I wish you would show yourself in your true colours. If you are my friend, why do you bite me? If you are my enemy, why do you play with me?" He is no friend who plays double. The Lion, the Mouse, and the Fox. A lion was lying asleep at the mouth of his den, when a mouse ran over his back and tickled him so that he woke up with a start and began looking about everywhere to see what it was that had disturbed him. A fox who was looking on thought he would have a joke at the expense of the lion, so he said, "Well, this is the first time I've seen a lion afraid of a mouse." "Afraid of a mouse?" said the lion testily. "Not I. It's his bad manners I can't stand." And thus we've finished the first Fables book. And now we are going to go and head to the Halls of Eternity, which we need to make our way to today. So that was interesting. Some of those, I have to say... Sorry, I just needed to take a quick drink there. I have to say, some of those fables didn't exactly make sense to me. Some of them were fairly obvious what the plot was. Some of them outright told you what the plot was, or the idea behind it was. But some of them most definitely I didn't really understand. Like, they were just unusual. I couldn't really make head nor tail of what the in inverted commas lesson was supposed to be. So it was bit confusing, in truth. But no matter. No matter. We've read them now. I enjoyed when we got to the hare and the tortoise. That was a good one. Showing that slow and steady is the way to do things. Also, this episode is going to be a little bit longer than usual. Just because we do need to get to the Halls of Eternity today, really. Because I'm not going to be able to do the recordings tomorrow. So I need to get a little bit ahead. Oh, excuse me. So what do we still actually need to do within the caves? We still need to find a golden key. We haven't yet managed to get through one of the wooden doors that appears and disappears because we need the key that I was on about. There's got to be a path that we've not yet been down to allow us to progress. There's got to be something that I've missed and haven't realised. There's got to be something. Something really obvious. I like how we turned away from that goal. Let's see if we make it to this goal before it fades away. We did. As it was fading away. Oh, we didn't make that one though. Yes. I think what we might need to try and do is visit every one of the doors that can appear, just to make sure that they actually do all need a key, because it might be that one of them doesn't, and that starts a sort of chain reaction. But one thing is definitely for certain. That's I don't really know where I need to go. We might have to start doing the thing again of picking a random place to walk to through this thing and just letting it go and see where we end up. See if it takes us anywhere new. And if it does, then winner. Oh, excuse me. Otherwise, I am a little bit stuck. I suppose what we should do is, before we go ahead and do that, is go down all the paths that we can. See if there's anything we have missed. First and foremost. Crawly, crawly. But there must definitely be something that we've missed. And it'll either be something incredibly obvious or very well hidden. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was something very obvious, to be quite honest. I could definitely see it happening, that it was something really quite obvious. But hey, I've just realised we're only 73 days left until the 400 days are over, in inverted commas. Obviously we're not going to be ending the series there. We're going to be waiting until 400 actual days have passed, rather than what we perceive time to have passed, or rather what time we perceive to have passed. Because I reckon there is a separate ending for each, and I don't want to have done 100 days, because it'll probably be about, if we stayed at home, it'd probably be about 110, 112 days or something like that, before we actually reached 0 on that timer. Sorry, music. So we're at the Halls of Eternity. And with that, we're going to end the episode here and continue it in the next episode. So, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon or night, no matter what time of day it is. I hope you have a wonderful one of it. And once again, we'll be back tomorrow with more of The Longing. Goodbye.